Well, I don't know how we're supposed to move on from that first game, let alone try and top the entertainment value that we were served. But nevertheless, game two tonight on 6:30, Chad, round two between the Canucks and Oilers. Let's get you a quick pregame meal. There's a few reasons for optimism here, and it's just simply this. These few things are not going to happen 2 games in a row. Connor McDavid held without a shot on goal for the first time in his playoff career. Can bet that's not going to happen again. Stuart Skinner with a save percentage that begins with a 7. Oy, but you're pretty sure that's not going to happen again. And the other thing is the Oilers only getting 1 power play over that entire hockey game? Seriously? And the penalty that was called against Vancouver, remember back to the first 3-4 minutes of the hockey game, that was a too many men call. That's one that the officials have to call. So discipline, I mentioned in game one's pregame meal for Vancouver, was going to be paramount to their success. And hey, obviously it worked in game one. They didn't get themselves too far out of that game and allowed them to come right back into it, stealing it 5-4 at the time it was all said and done. Now Oilers fans have to worry about the Leon Draisaitl injury factor. We've seen him battle through injury before, when you remember the LA Kings series and the bum ankle he had after Mikey Anderson reefed him down a couple of years ago. But for a guy to be laboring the way that he was, and as evidenced by his poor performance in the faceoff circle, a very uncharacteristically bad night for Edmonton's top faceoff man, and the Canucks mopped him up in the faceoff dots. If there's no risk of further injury to Draisaitl, you can bet he is going to draw in and as many T3s or 4s or 5s or whatever they have in the NHL are required to get this man on the ice. He's willing to do that, but just how effective is he going to be at faceoffs, and maybe more importantly on the power play from his usual one-time spot? Of course, that's going to be an X factor here in game two and moving forward for Edmonton, depending on the severity of this injury. 3 Oilers I really need to see step up here in game 2 would be, well, first and foremost, Stuart Skinner. He knows that. He's a tough guy to cheer against. He's got a lot of accountability, but he needs to batten down the hatches. Surrendering goals that I would expect a rookie goaltender to surrender in his first go-around in the NHL playoffs. You're pushing for a Stanley Cup now. That cannot happen. But the 2 guys playing in front of him that didn't make it any easier were Darnell Nurse and Cody Ceci, -3 apiece in that game one. But the turnovers, the confusion, the inability to box out in front of the net from time to time, it's frustrating to watch, and it's frustrating more so knowing that these guys have been through the playoff circuit many a time before. The spotlight cannot possibly be too bright. It's about rising to the occasion, and there's no time to waste. You've now burned your breakfast ball. We're on to game 2, and you better make sure you come away from the West Coast with a split. Those Vancouver fans are loud, and they don't make it easy at Rogers Arena. Don't kid yourself. They had something to do with that comeback. Those towels ripping through the crowd. It's pretty impressive. And whether you want to give them credit for that or not, it is something that your Oilers are contending with out there on the roads. But we know that they can be out there as road warriors and have no issue. They won both games in Los Angeles in round 1, so I expect that they should be able to swipe one here in round 2 against the Pacific Division champion Vancouver Canucks when the puck drops on 6:30, Chad, just after 8.